Hello everyone, welcome to Current Affairs for Beginners. Let's start our today's session. Before starting our session, first let us see answers for the questions from a previous video. The first question is, which of the following is not an ASEAN country? What is meant by ASEAN? Association for Southeast Asian Nations. Association of Southeast Asian Nations. This organization was established by 10 Southeast Asian nations. They are Brunei, Cambodia, Indonesia, Laos, Malaysia, Myanmar, Philippines, Singapore, Thailand, and Vietnam. It was an intergovernmental organization. All the governments of these 10 nations has formed this association. This organization was established by the Southeast Asian nations in order to promote economic, political, security, military, educational, as well as socio-cultural integration among these 10 countries as well as with other Asian countries. So now if we come to the question, which of the following is not an ASEAN country? India, Myanmar, Thailand, Indonesia. The answer here is India. India is not a member country of this ASEAN grouping. The next question is, which of the following pollutants is or are measured under Air Quality Index? Chlorofluorocarbons, ozone, hydrofluorocarbons, and ammonia. Air Quality Index measures 8 pollutants in air. They were nitrogen oxides, that is oxides of nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, particulate matter of size 2.5 and 10, ozone, carbon monoxide, ammonia, and lead. So the answer here is only ozone and ammonia were measured by this air quality index. So the answer here is C, 2 and 4 only. Now let's start our today's session. These are all the topics which we are going to cover in our today's video. Our first article is Political Economics. This article comes under GS Paper 3 under the topic of Economy. From this article, here we are going to see about MSMEs as well as the entire article is talking about a recently launched scheme by the government known as Support and Outreach Program that is related to these MSMEs. And here there is mention of a scheme called as Mudra scheme. We will even see what is this Mudra scheme is about. First, what are these MSMEs? It is a micro, small and medium enterprises. The primary responsibility for promoting and developing these MSMEs is with the state governments. But in order to empower this sector, in 2006, the central government has passed an act which is known as MSME Development Act of 2006 and a new ministry known as Ministry of MSMEs has also been formed. This act has classified these MSMEs into two classes. It classified these enterprises into two types. One is manufacturing enterprises, the other is service enterprises. Manufacturing enterprises are the ones that are engaged in manufacture or production of goods. These enterprises are basically defined based on their investment on the manufacturing plant as well as on the machinery they use to manufacture or do any value addition to the final product. Whereas service enterprises are the ones that are engaged in providing services, and these are defined based on their investment in the equipment. As per this act, the enterprises were considered as micro enterprises in the manufacturing sector if their investment in plant or machinery does not exceed 25 lakh rupees. It should be below 25 lakh rupees. Then only that enterprise in the manufacturing sector will be considered as a micro enterprise. Whereas for small enterprises, it has to be between 25 to 5 crore rupees. It shouldn't exceed this 5 crore rupees. Whereas for a medium enterprises, it has to be more than 5 crore rupees, but the investment should not exceed 10 crore rupees. Whereas when it comes to the service enterprises, it is considered as a micro enterprise if the investment in the equipments of service sector does not exceed 10 lakh rupees. Whereas for a small enterprise, the investment has to be between 25 lakh rupees to 2 crore rupees, and it shouldn't exceed this 2 crore rupees investment. Whereas a medium enterprise in the service sector should have the investment of more than 2 crore rupees, but it shouldn't exceed 5 crore rupees. This entire classification based on their investment limits is according to this MSME Development Act of 2006. Whereas in 2018, the central government has given a new turnover-based classification for these MSMEs. So if we see this new classification based on the annual turnover, these MSMEs, the micro, small and medium enterprises, were classified as a micro enterprise if its annual turnover does not exceed 5 crore rupees, then it is called as a micro enterprise. Whereas when it comes to the investment, it has to be below 25 lakhs. This is according to this MSMED Development Act of 2006. Next one is the small enterprise. The annual turnover of it has to be between 5 crore rupees to the 75 crore rupee, and their investment should be between 25 lakh to 5 crore rupees. Whereas a medium enterprise turnover should be between 75 crores to 250 crores. It shouldn't exceed this 250 crores of annual turnover. Whereas the investment in plant and machinery is between 5 crore rupees to 10 crore rupees. This is in case of this manufacturing enterprises. And this new classification that is based on the turnover is applied for all types of these MSMEs, micro, small and medium enterprises, including those that were operating in the service sector, not only for this operating in this manufacturing sector. We have seen the classification and the definition. So what is the significance of these MSMEs? Generally, these enterprises are labor intensive. Labor intensive in the sense they are having the capability to create jobs that will cater the needs of younger demography of India. Whereas it is also important for promoting industrial development in rural areas by using the traditional inherited skills and local resources and mobilizing these resources and exporting the products from these rural areas. And the other thing is it will provide maximum opportunities. Because it is an enterprise, it will provide opportunities for both self-employed as well as wage employment outside the agriculture sector. So from this we can say that we know that for any country, economic development is very important. In order to make that development sustainable and inclusive, these micro, small and medium enterprises will play a major role. Because according to the official data, in India, the employment share of these MSMEs is almost 69%, combining both manufacturing sector as well as the service sector. We said it is labor intensive, but it also needs capital. So it is both capital and labor intensive. In order to provide equitable distribution of capital to these MSME development, for the development of these MSMEs, which will play a very significant role in developing the economy, in order to provide this capital equally, the government has recently launched a program called as Support and Outreach Program for these MSMEs. This is a key initiative mainly for the growth, expansion as well as facilitation for the MSMEs across the country. How it will be done? This program includes 5 key aspects in order to facilitate the MSME sector. Those 5 are divided into 2 types. One is, from the scheme name itself we can say, it is divided into 2. What are the support based aspects and other is outreach aspects. Out of these 5, some are giving support. They were facilitating this MSME sector. Some are helping this MSME sector for outreaching. Now we'll see which among these 5 aims were supporting this MSME sector to grow and expand. One is access to the credit, and the other one is sense of security to the employees working in the MSME sector. What are the outreach aspects? One is access to the market. The other one is technology upgradation, upgrading the technology. And the third one is ease of doing business. As we said that this MSME sector will provide or generate employment opportunities, this program will run for 100 days covering 100 districts throughout the country. So what will be done in this program? Various central ministers, they'll visit their districts, the districts in which, the 100 districts in which this program is being conducted, and they will apprise these entrepreneurs about various facilities that were being extended to this MSME sector by the union government and financial institutions. So the entrepreneurs will be encouraged to come forward and make use of these facilities, including access to credit and access to market. To make use of these benefits, they will be encouraged to come forward. So under this aspect of access to credit, the government has launched a portal known as 59-minute loan portal. So according to this portal, loans up to 1 crore rupees will be granted through this portal in just 59 minutes. The link to this portal is available in our GST portal. And once we take a loan, we have to pay the interest. So for all the MSMEs that were registered under the goods and service tax regime, they were provided with 2% interest subvention by the government. What is meant by interest subvention? It is nothing but a subsidy in the rate of interest for the loan that we took. For example, if Mr. A took a loan of 1 crore rupees and he has to pay the interest, if his enterprise is registered with the GST, then he will be exempted or he will be subsidized with 2% of interest rate. That means out of the interest rate he pays, 2% will be compensated by the government. That means the government will pay the 2% of the interest rate. To put it simply, The loan borrower need not pay total interest on the loan amount. The balance interest amount which he didn't pay will be borne by the government. The government will pay. Here in this scheme it is 2%. The government will compensate the interest amount by 2% for the enterprises that were registered with GST. And this interest subvention is not for the past loans. It is for the fresh or the incremental loans. And the other option is access to markets. How it is beneficial? Under this access to markets, the government has made it mandatory for the public sector companies to buy or to procure 25% of their purchase from MSMEs only. Previously it is 20%. Now they have increased the number to 25%. And out of the 25% procurement that is mandatory from the MSMEs, 3% is reserved for women entrepreneurs. So it is mandatory for all the public sector undertakings of union government to be part of government e-market. And ease of doing business. For this ease of doing business, the government is going to establish clusters of these MSMEs. So, to establish these clusters, 70% of the cost will be borne by the union government. And the government procedures were simplified and air pollution and water pollution laws were now merged. Therefore, only one consent is required. That is, a single consent for both air and water related laws is required. And for providing social security for the MSME employees, the government will launch a mission to ensure all the employees in the MSME sector will have Janadan accounts, Provident Fund as well as insurance. And related to technology upgradation, the government is going to form 20 hubs that were essential for the product design. The next one is Mudra loan scheme. What is Mudra? It stands for Micro Units Development and Refinance Agency. This loan scheme is being implemented by the Ministry of Finance, which is a nodal agency for running this scheme. The objective of this loan scheme is to fund the unfunded. It will finance the last mile financiers of small and micro businesses. And the priority will be given in lending will be given to the SC and ST enterprises. As we said that it is going to fund the unfunded, that is the last mile financiers of these micro and small businesses. Who are the last mile financiers? They are the microfinance institutions, MFIs. Is it that it will refinance all the microfinance institutions? No, not for all the microfinance institutions. Only the microfinance institutions that were engaged in the business of lending. That means only the MFIs that will lend to the MSMEs who were engaged in manufacturing and trade or services. Only to the MFIs who will lend to this sector. Then a bank called as Mudra Bank has been set up as a statutory body under this scheme. This bank will refinance, that means it will fund these MFIs. Who will ultimately fund these? MSMEs. So that's why we said that it will finance the last mile financiers who were the MFIs. And according to this scheme, the loans were segregated into 3 types. They are Shishu, Kishore and Tarun. These things were important and Shishu will cover loans up to 50,000 rupees, whereas Kishore will cover loans from 50,000 rupees to 5 lakh rupees, whereas Tarun will cover loans for above 5 lakh rupees and up to 10 lakh rupees. Our next article is Delhi Air Worsens after Diwali. This article comes under GS Paper 3 under the topic of environment, and the subtopic is air pollution. From this article, here now we are going to see about what is meant by this air quality index, CPCB, and what is this SUFFER. Air quality index. In order to make an attempt to improve the air quality and to make the air quality measurement easier to understand, the Ministry of Environment and Forest has launched a National Air Quality Index. This index will provide us a real-time data about the level of pollutants in air, and this index will also inform people about the possible impacts on the health, because this index has classified the quality of air as good, satisfactory, moderately polluted, poor, very poor, and severe. These are the 6 categories into which this air quality index is classified, and each category is represented by a color code to visually express the level of severity in which people can easily understand. So this air quality index will measure 8 pollutants in air. Those 8 pollutants are oxides of nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, particulate matter of size 2.5 and particulate matter of size 10, and ozone, carbon monoxide, ammonia, and lead. These are the 8 pollutants which this National Air Quality Index will measure. Here you can see all the 6 categories and their associated health impacts. If the air quality is good, the impact on health will be minimum. If it is severe, it will cause respiratory illness on healthy people, and it will cause serious health impacts on people with lung and heart diseases. This air quality index has been developed by an organization, a statutory organization in India known as Central Pollution Control Board, in consultation with IIT Kanpur and some expert group consisting of medical and air quality professionals. So what is the CPCB? Central Pollution Control Board of India is a statutory organization which is functioning under the Ministry of Environment and Forests, and this organization is responsible for looking or implementing the provisions of 2 acts. One is Water Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1974 and Air Prevention and Control of Pollution Act of 1981. This organization is responsible for promoting cleanliness of streams and wells and improving the quality of air and preventing the pollution of both streams and wells as well as air, and it will lay down some standards according to which these streams or wells and quality of air has to be maintained. The next one is SUFFER. What is this SUFFER? System of Air Quality and Weather Forecasting. It is a system for forecasting the quality of air as well as weather. This system is developed in India by our Indian institute known as Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, that is located in Pune, and it is being operated by Indian Meteorological Department. IMD is operating this system. What will this system do? This system will monitor all the weather parameters. As we said that it is a system of air quality and weather forecasting. So it will monitor all the weather parameters like temperature, rainfall, humidity, wind speed, wind direction, all these. And it will also measure the sun's ultraviolet index as well as the particulate matter of size 1, mercury and black carbon, along with regular air quality and weather parameters like particulate matter of size 2.5, 10, sulfur dioxide, ozone, oxides of nitrogen and carbon monoxide, which were measured by our air quality index. The best part of this system is it is capable of measuring. It will automatically generate the levels of ultrafine particles, that is particulate matter of size 1 and mercury. Because why I said it is best part of this is these both were having a direct impact on human health, and this system will also monitor the levels of the pollutants, like very harmful pollutants like benzene, toluene and xylene. These were very harmful pollutants which affect the human health very badly. So this is a true colored LED display. The system is an LED display which will give us real-time air quality index on 24/7 basis, along with the color coding. We said that based on the air quality index is classified into 6 categories and each category is given a color code. Even here it will provide this air quality index with the color coding along with 72-hour advanced details also. That means we will get 3 days data how the quality of air will be for the next 3 days also. This system will forecast how the air quality would be in the next 3 days. Our next article is 5 killed in Chhattisgarh blast on the eve of Prime Minister's election rally. From this article, here we are going to see what is meant by this Central Industrial Security Force. This concept will come under GS Paper 3 under the topic of Internal Security. This Central Industrial Security Force is an central armed police force that is functioning under the Ministry of Home Affairs. Initially, it was established under the CISF Act in order to protect the major public sector undertakings. From the name itself, we can see it is Central Industrial Security Force. That means it will provide security to the central industries. Initially, it used to protect only the major public sector undertakings. Now, it has got converted into an armed force from the CISF Act, and its responsibilities were also increased. Now it is being tasked to provide security for various government installations, including countries' airports, metros, all these. So the CISF provides security to the industrial ventures and establishments, VIPs, and it will also engages in the disaster management. And its fire wing will even respond to fire emergencies and fire accidents also. Our next article is 6 airports were said to be privatized. From this article, we are going to see about PPP projects. What are these PPP projects? Public Private Partnership Projects. What is meant by this public-private partnership? Public-private partnership is a contractual agreement between a public agency and a private entity for a long-term project. Through this agreement, the skills, assets of each sector, that is public and private, will be shared in order to deliver a service or a facility for the use of general public. For the sake of general public, in order to deliver any service, these both public and private entities will share their skills and assets under this agreement. Along with this sharing of resources, each party, that is the public as well as private, will even share the risks associated with this project, and they will also share the rewards that they attain. That means the profits, because they are spending, they are investing here, they are giving in the form of capital and assets and skills. So for their investment, they will get the return in the form of rewards, that is the profits, for the delivery of service or any facility. Now let's see our today's questions. With regard to the support and outreach program, consider the following statements. A loan of 1 crore will be approved to all the MSMEs across the country. The government will provide an interest subvention of 2% for all the existing loans. The next question is, the terms Shishu, Kishore and Tarun are related to which among the following? Whether they are agriculture subsidies, loan instruments to MSMEs, green crackers or government securities. Try to answer these questions and post your answers in the comment box, and tomorrow we'll see a detailed explanation for these questions. Thank you.